to my next video. So I'm still trying to figure out how to live in a tent, because you can live in a tent so cheaply and deal with heat too. So to deal with the heat, I bought a wood stove, and I think I bought the wrong wood stove. I think this is a fairly big, heavy wood stove. It's a great wood stove, and I think if you weren't moving around all the time, it would be a superb wood stove. And it still might be if you have enough room to carry the wood stove. I think what I should have bought is one of the titanium folding, they go down to just fold down to nothing. They weigh like 5 pounds. No doubt this is going to be a great wood stove, but it's a little big and heavy. And so that is a problem when you live in a car or a van. This one's going into somebody who owns a Suburban, and they got a little more room than most, so maybe it'll work for them. We'll have to wait and see. You have to buy a tent with a stove jack. It comes with a stove. This is a guard heat shield. This is the heat shield, a fabric heat shield. So there's the stove. That's the back. And it's got these, and these are cool. I like that a lot. So you carry it, and the stove itself is not all that heavy. It's heavy. It's stainless steel. That's really good. One of the problems with the titaniums is the heat eventually does them damage. Regular steel, they rust. Just the nature of fire on regular steel is that they're going to rust. Stainless should really prevent a lot of that. All right, things are going to be flying out of here. There's a door or bottom or something. These will be the legs. Legs. I think this is a push. You will just fire management with that, I think. And inside are the pipes. So it comes with 11'3" of pipe, because it's a big, tall tent, as you can see. And the pipe has to go up to the tent, top of the tent, and over. It's never enough just to come to the top. It's got to actually go over. And then they just snap together. That's pretty much the way all these pipes work. And then you have all of them and you assemble them all together. So again, this is really, there's really isn't a need for a manual here. All you do is you just screw these legs on and they go on and off, and pretty basic setup. So maybe this is, just the size and the weight is what would concern me about owning this. But if you had a room to carry it around, it's a pretty darn good stove from what I'm seeing so far. Everything, the quality of everything seems very good. Now, the most important thing you can do is get the manual and read it carefully. It will give you clearances. Do not mess with those clearances. If it says you need 10 inches, 20 inches, 100 inches, whatever it tells you, you give it that, or your life is at risk. Another thing it says is you must not do your original burn inside, because there's going to do a burn off of some chemicals here that are not safe, and it's going to stink. You don't want something stinking in your inside. So what you must do, according to the manual and just common sense, is do your first burn outside and let it go a long time. Make sure it is good and seasoned before you ever do a burn inside. And again, clearances. Do not ever fudge the clearances. That's life and death. Don't fudge the clearances. The dimensions are just going to hang over a little bit there. All the way to the back is 23 inches. So if you have 23 inches to spare, of course you have to have clearances. So you can't have this back right up to anything, because this would be way too hot. And so you'll have to look at the manual, and I don't have the clearances on top of right in front of me. So you'll have to download the PDF and read that. So 23 inches. And width-wise, it's less than 11, just slightly less than 11. And if you pop it all the way open, which works pretty well, all the way open is 26 and a half. And up off of the ground, or the table in this case, is 16 and a half. And the biggest number, the most important number, is 33 pounds for everything. And so you have to be able to lift and carry in and out of the rig, and to and from the tent, and whatever you're doing with it, 33 pounds. So that's the big one. although it doesn't seem all that unreasonable, 24 inches by about 11 inches. That's not a big space. Most of us can probably find room. A great source of heat everywhere you go. That really is appealing. And this is your airflow. So far, just everything looks just really good. It's very high quality. So, you know, I don't have a lot of answers right now because we're going to have to get the final assembly done. We're going to have to download the PDF, read the manual, know exactly what everything how it works, and start burning fires in it. It's cool enough here in the desert still that we'd be glad to have fires. I'm going to turn it over to Aiden and Cliff, and they will use it. And after about a week of them using it, I'll get back to you and we'll finish this video off with them. So the next thing you see will be Aiden, Cliff, and I, and we'll tell you all about how this stove is working after just a week. So see you in just a minute. All right. So now we're going to do a follow-up video, and it's been with Cliff, right. And it's been only a couple, 3 days.
3 or 4 days, yeah.
3 or 4 days that he's been using the wood stove. So what do you think so far?
I really like it. So the first night we burned it outside because you got to do the initial burn outside. We let it burn for a few hours. And then I didn't try to get it set up because it was bedtime and I wanted it to cool down before we brought it in. Next night we brought it in here. We got it set up. Worked really well. It didn't get really cold, so it was kind of hard to gauge how much heat it was putting out for us. But it was very pretty. The ambiance was nice. And it just worked really well. I think some of the wood I have, I think is a little wet still. So it's putting out a lot of smoke, and then other times, but the smoke is going out the stovepipe like it should. It wasn't filling the tent too bad. A couple times when we had the door open. But I really like it as far as for what it's for. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And your goal then, you're going to take it and use it long term.
Yeah.
And your goal is to go into the colder countries,
right.
And snow camp.
Right.
You want to try and snow camp with
it. Snow camp, or at least colder weather, and try that out and see how it works. I think this thing would be great. I kept telling Aiden, I was like, man, if I had a little cabin in the woods, this would be awesome. I think you had talked about somebody using it on a schoolie or something.
Yes.
I know other people have small wood burning stoves, even in little things like a scamp. Probably not this big, but
this is a little big.
Yeah, but it's not that big as far as if you were in a regular car or a regular sized trailer. It's really nice.
Right.
Yeah.
So the quality seems good.
Yeah.
The venting was good.
Yeah.
The exhaust out.
It worked very well. You want to make sure you get the stovepipe put together really well. Sometimes you'll think you have it slid in there, but you need to give it a little twist or something to get it to sit in there correctly. The second thing is I would use a pair of gloves because some of the edges of the stovepipe could be sharp. I didn't cut myself, but I could see where you could. I have everything. There's 11 stovepipe pieces, 4 legs. I've got everything inside of this. The only thing I couldn't get was the grill, and I was thinking about maybe just taking some type of tie and tying that down there so it would be always attached.
Yeah.
But it works really nice. I took the legs. The legs are pretty heavy duty.
They are very heavy duty, yeah.
So I took an old leather glove and I just shoved the 4 legs down in each of the 4 fingers and put it right, and then so I could shove it in the pipe and it wouldn't tear up one of the stovepipes.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good idea.
So it's really sharp and it gets hot. Of course, last night was we were going to cook on it, and that was the night the wind was so bad. I was like, I'm not having fire in the tent.
Right.
So we haven't tried that yet, but definitely I could see where you could cook on the top of this.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had a really horrendous, really bad windstorm. Even for the desert, it was a bad one. And so the tent has not really weathered that very well. But so far, you're really happy with the stove.
Yeah. The one other thing I would say, I know I'm saying a lot, but the one other thing I would say is choose your wood a little bit more selectively than if you were going to put it in a fire pit outside, because you don't want real smoky wood, sappy wood, or wet wood, even sometimes the bark. It made it smell nice, but that was the stuff that burned a little bit more smoky. So,
okay.
But for the initial burn off outside, it didn't matter because we were outside. Oh, and you can take the top off and use it as a fire pit. So that's a nice addition to it.
I saw that. Yeah, that's a unique feature.
Yeah.
And so it would be this, except no top.
Right.
And you could set it around the fire.
Yep. You just open these up, take that top off, and that top is very, very sturdy, very heavy duty. But like I said, I took some pictures and sent them to my kids of the fire in the front because it's nice. It's pretty.
Right.
So. And
this is the Wild Wild West from Luxe Tents, and it's highly, highly recommended so far.
Yeah.
It's a little early, 3 or 4 days use isn't really a lot to give you a total recommendation, but so far so good,
Yeah.
as opposed to the tents. Very good. So we'll keep you updated. Hopefully we'll get a summer update.
Okay.
And you'll have had a chance to use it really long term and
Right.
give us more of a either this summer, and you're probably going to be in the Northwest.
That's where I'm hoping to go. So with everything going on, we may have to move. We may have to go back east to take care of our vaccines and stuff. But at some point, the whole goal of this trip was Pacific Northwest and Canada.
Right. Okay. Hopefully we'll run into you in the next 6 months to a year, and
Yeah.
we'll do a long-term follow-up. But
right.
so far so good. That's really all we can tell you right now.
Yeah.
So folks, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later. I have classes now for people who are brand new to the road and who really need everything in one place. I'm offering classes on Skillshare.com and Udemy.com. They're 5.5 hours of content over 19 courses, and I try to answer every question that every new person has asked me over the years. So if you want all the information you need in one place, it's there to the very best of my abilities. It's there and waiting for you. Go take a look. There'll be a link down in the description below, or just go to Skillshare or Udemy.com and type in Bob Wells Cheap RV Living, and you'll find the course.